All right, say you have a patient that has upper and lower dentures and you're going to do a denture conversion. This also works for a single arch denture. So you'll start off with your photos. I always take a smile photo, as big as they can smile, and then a retracted photo so I can stitch everything back into ExoCAD. And even if their vertical is off, ideally if you get them in a better vertical situation or just understand how much you have to open them up, but CR would be, and CO would need to be worked out before at this point. So just understanding if their joint's fully seated is ideal so you don't have any bite issues. And those are minor details that can be worked out in this denture, by equilibrating the bite and setting in properly. All right, so at this point, what you want to do is take upper and lower full denture scans, like you see here, just her top and bottom. And to after you expose the implants on the upper arch and the lower arch, you want to reline the upper and lower denture. And at this point, whenever you reline the denture, if you need to open up the bite, if you want to add more material in the maxillary arch, you can do that. So you can add a little bit more material to open up the bite, confirm the vertical. And you want to put those reference markers inside the patient's, on the inside of the multi-unit abutments. So expose the implants, torque out the multi-unit abutments, and put on those healing cover caps, right? And then you can see here those healing cover caps. I'll show you what that looks like, because whenever you export this arch, you'll be able to pull up the scans, right? Whenever you pull them up, I usually open up it with mesh mixer, and you can see this is what the STL looks like. So if you click, and just to show you, you don't have to do this, the lab can actually do this for you. And if you highlight all the denture teeth itself, all this material here, rotate around and remove all this. This is just for your information, but you don't need to do this at all. And you just press discard. And then if you want to highlight, so select, highlight this, and you just press, go to, I think it's edit and flip normals, yeah. So then this is your tissue scan. So now you can see the multi-unit abutments. Let's go back to edit again. So then this would be flip normals. This is what it looked like from the intaglio surface, because this was our denture scan. But you want to invert this because it's a negative impression, right? So double click this, again, flip normals, and that'll give your tissue scan here. So that you can use these reference caps. Now you can tell how these they didn't pick up that well. It's really important to pick them up as well as you possibly can to be able to get some of this diameter. You want some good landmarks to be able to stitch this back to your STL. And this is, honestly, this is actually accurate enough to be able to 3D print some provisionals and get them passive. If you want it super passive, then you need to use grammetry or photogrammetry. If you don't have that though, but this is relatively, this works. You can do that for the upper and lower jaw. But again, whenever you reline it, just make sure you don't add any cants to the arch, like the upper and lower arch, whenever you reline it, and make sure that everything's seated really well. All right, so that's your upper arch. You can even scan your lower arch and do the same thing for the lower arch. Expose the implants, torque in the multi-unit abutments, put on those healing cover caps, and then reline the lower arch. It's important to get a really good bite to make sure that the patient's biting. I usually get a left side bite and a right side bite just to make sure there's nothing offset. And then I can either send you the 3D printable file and you can print it on your end, or we can just ship you the print and you can go from there. But so let's say patient comes back and we deliver the provisionals and everything really works out except the midline's off. Now I don't use these Coyce glasses anymore because not everybody's ears are right. These don't work out, but you can see how she loves her temps, but her midline's off. So I need to move that midline. So I'm gonna take a smile photo and I'm gonna take a retracted photo, and I'll be able to shift her midline in the provisionals and make some new provisionals for her, right? So I usually do 2 sets of provisionals, one just to try in provisionals to make sure everything looks right, work out the bite a little bit more, make any changes. I'll scan the changes in. So these are the provisionals that she has in her mouth. I'll make any bite adjustments on the top and the bottom arch. You can see here a little bit of bite equilibration, make sure everything looks good, protrusive, everything. And then once I have that ironed out, I will scan that, stitch the photos to it, send another STL just to make sure everything looks good, and we can use that to 3D print or even mill in PMMA before we go to finals. So going back to the photos, these are the photos that I would take, and then the patient would come in for this is their first set of provisionals, they come back in for the second set of provisionals just to make sure everything looks good. And then these are the provisionals that we would deliver, right? Midline's fixed, bite's better, buccal corridor is better, patient likes it, smile dynamics are good. We'll confirm with photos, so we'll take a photo just like this, a full smile, just to make sure everything's good, and we'll also take another photo retracted if there's any significant changes to the smile. And from here, we mill finals. So really not a hard process. Again, verification with the grammetry or photogrammetry is necessary. If you don't have the means to do that, you can, in the provisional phase, you can just use those impressions and then get your verification done later on. But this is just a simple pick up reline technique. You don't have to do wax and try-ins, wax room to open up the bite, all that. Just use their denture to open up their bite to the corrected vertical. Make sure they're in a good CR position. 3D print a middle, the first set of provisionals, try them in, make sure they look good. But photography is necessary for these cases for sure. And you need to have the patient sitting up, not in the dental chair, but sitting up somewhere in the hallway or standing up in the hallway, and you take a photo eye level with showing enough face and direct on vision. Hope this video helps out.